Alright guys, this is going to be a tutorial video. I'm going to try to do more of these. So this is going to be replacing coil packs on a 2020 Indian Scout 60. So this was because I got a misfire, P65590 and P65590-1. So pretty much when the engine would get hot, like after like a couple miles of riding, at first it was like 15 miles of riding, it would start to misfire and it would kind of strand you, and you'd let it cool down a little bit and it would keep on going. So at first I thought it was like a fuel system, all that stuff. So I pulled all the injectors out, cleaned them, put them back in. That didn't really do shit. I also replaced the battery. When I replaced the battery, it was fine for about 50 miles before it would, before it would start to misfire. Then I replaced the coil pack in cylinder 1 here. So that's cylinder 1, that's cylinder 2. That actually helped it a lot for 100 miles. So I was riding on 100 miles before the other one got too hot and it started misfiring on this one. That's at least what I believe. But I'm going to do a tutorial. We're replacing the other coil pack today. These are pretty expensive. They're made by Polaris. I think this was $94.99. And you got 2 of them, so yeah, that's pretty expensive. This is going to be a tutorial how to replace them though. So first, you're going to have to remove the seat. So I'll get to that in a second. All right, to remove the seat, you're going to first pop up on this, and there's going to be a little rubber piece that would just come undone like that. And then you're just going to slide back on the seat, and the seat comes right out. And you have your fuse box and your battery and all that stuff we need to get to right there. All right, guys, once the seat's off, you're going to need to lift this up. And these 4 bolts, we're going to need to take them all off. They're 1/2-inch bolts here. I'm not exactly sure what the torque specs are. I just put them down pretty tight. Not too tight, though, of course. But, yeah, they're 1/2-inch hex size. You just got to take them out here. I'll show you that in a second. All right, once you got all those bolts removed, as you can see there, you're going to want to remove the gas tank breathers. So those just pop off of those there. And now you can lift this whole side of the gas tank up. And what we're going to need to do is, I'm going to hold this up here. All right, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take off that electronic piece, whatever you want to call it. That's for the fuel pump and the gas light and all that stuff. And then you're also going to want to take off the fuel line, which is right there. So when you're getting at this, it's going to be hard for me to record. There's going to be a little tab that you can kind of see it up there. Yep, there's a little tab right up there. You're just going to push that in and then pull that down. And then for this here, the fuel line, there's 2 green buttons. You can see one on top right there, and then there's also one on the bottom. You're going to pinch those and pull the fuel line off, and there will be gas that spills out of here, but just a little bit. This tank is pretty full, but that doesn't really matter. It's really just the gas that's in that line there. All right, I got that clip off. And then the fuel line right here. Right there, that's also off. So it's just a little bit of gas that comes out of there. Not too much. I don't really care if it gets on the hands of the bike. After that, you're gonna want to pull this, kind of wiggle it, and lift up on here. Just like that. So the gas tank's off, and now the gas line is hot underneath the frame. So to do that, you're just gonna grab this. Push it out just like that out of the way, and the gas tank will slide right off. You can pause it. All right, once the gas tank's off, this is what we're looking at. So this is a aftermarket filter. I'm not really sure what the stock filter looks like or how to get it off. It's probably straightforward, but I didn't buy it with the stock one on there. I bought it with the aftermarket one on there. So this was that little pin I was talking about. You just press down on that and then pull it out. And then the fuel line, which is still connected to the tank, you just pinch it and then pull that off. So for this thing right here, there is, oh, my light's about to die. There is a Phillips head screwdriver right there. You're just gonna take that off and then pop the breather lines out just with your hands and then pop the air filter off. All right, so I got the filter off. You can see those two breathers. It went just like that, and I popped the breathers off of those right there. And then I usually cover this up, like I'll put a Ziploc bag over here and then a rubber band over it to keep debris and stuff out of there. But I'm doing this pretty quickly, so I'm not gonna be doing that. But yeah, usually that's covered up. So the coil pack, so I already replaced this one over here. You can tell that one's new. This one needs to be replaced right here, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna take a 5/16 on that bolt right there, take it out, and then pry this right here. Get that plastic electrical thing off there, loosen this, and you're gonna pull the coil right out. There we go. So that's the old coil there. That is that new coil there. Alright, so pretty much you're going to do everything that we just did, but in reverse. So I'm going to put the coil back in there, the new one. Or the ignition coil, whatever you've been calling it. There you go. Nice and snug. I'm actually going to put this electrical thing on there now and get it over with. Make sure it's a strong connection, and then we're going to put that bolt back in there. And I'm not sure what the torque spec is, but I know there is a torque spec. For something like this is not too major. I'll just you know, make it nice and snug. It's right there, it stopped. I'm going to go about right there, maybe a little bit more. So like, yeah, like an 1/8 of a turn, maybe a, yeah, no more than a 1/4 of a turn. I wouldn't go more than a 1/4 of a turn on this thing. And now I'm gonna make sure all these electrical connections are still good, because that would fucking suck if one of them got unplugged or a wire like snapped or something like that. So I'm just gonna go over and make sure all of this bullshit here is good, and it looks to be fine to me. All right, I'm not sure for the stock air filter, but for this air filter, I'm gonna slide the smaller breather on the cylinder 1, the breather hole, whatever you call that, on cylinder 1, and then I'll slide that one on. The whole thing should just kind of pop on. Let's see if I can get it done here with one hand. Oh, hell yeah, baby. All right. There you go. That's what I'm talking about right there. All right, and you're just gonna tighten down that Phillips head right there. All right, so I don't have someone to help me record, so you guys are just gonna watch me struggle this on my own. I'm gonna grab the gas tank and we're gonna put it on. Let me show you a couple things you're gonna need to know. These like rubber bits here, there's like hooks on the gas tank that slides into, so keep that in mind. We're gonna make sure before the gas tank gets seated on that the fuel line goes right under this part of the frame here and then onto that. Make sure that no gas gets on the electrical stuff, you know. Yeah, and then it's pretty straightforward. After that, we're just going to connect the breathers again and bolt it back down. But by then, I should be able to hold the phone too. So I'm going to grab the gas tank. Alright, so this gas tank is pretty full, so this is not exactly easy. There we go. I'll make sure that gets...
make sure there's no gas on there. I think we're good. And then just hear this click. There you go. That's how you know it's good. And you just slide the fuel line back on there. Pain in the fucking ass, that's what this shit is. Tap it on that fuel rail. God damn, I usually don't struggle with this shit. There you go. And until it clicks, once you hear a firm click, that's how you know your fuel line is secured on that fuel rail. Alright. Now make sure this is a pain in the ass. So this rubber piece, it gets caught. Just lift the gas tank up and push it underneath that part of the frame there. That's why I was having so many fucking problems. God damn. Alright. Yep. And now I can grab the phone now. Alright, now we're gonna slide these back onto these here. So that one. Yep, and that one. So right here. I'm pretty sure these are just breathers for the gas tank. I'm not so sure, but that's what they look like to me. I don't think they serve like a really important role, but you know, just make sure they're all hooked up. We're gonna put the bolts back in these holes here, and then we're gonna torque them down a little bit, like, you know, not too tight, but you know, make sure they're nice and snug in a crisscross pattern. All right, so I just hand tighten them down, and then right about there, maybe a little bit more, make sure they're snug. That's about how tight you want them. So I'm gonna tighten this down, this, make sure that's still snug, and do it over again. Oh, you cannot see what I just did, my bad. That. All right, so once these 4 bolts are nice and tight, we're almost done. We just gotta slide the seat back on. We gotta prime the system and fire this bad girl up. All right, putting the seat on is just like the reverse process. So that's that little lip there. You're gonna hook that little lip right there too. So you're gonna do that first. So we're just gonna slide her on right there, and then make sure that pushes in right there, and you got your seat nice and secured. All right, now to prime it, you need to get the keys, of course, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn the keys all the way, and you're just gonna use this red switch here, and you're gonna do that so you hear the fuel pump zzz, right, and you're gonna stop it. You're gonna do that again, do it like 3 times, right? It's not gonna flood the system if you do it just like 3 times. I think the fuel injectors aren't actually pumping anything in, it's just making the fuel pump go and charging up that fuel rail. Then you're gonna, you know, fire her up and give her some hell. All right, don't do that, but you know, let her idle a little bit, let the RPMs drop, and then you should be good to go. I'm gonna do it right now. My neighbors are asleep. It's like really late, but we're still gonna do it. All right. Right. That should be good. I'm gonna put this bad girl in neutral, and then we're just gonna just like that, baby. Woo-hoo! Alright, it's like 11 o'clock at night. I shouldn't be having this out in a suburban neighborhood, but yeah, there you go, guys. That's how you replace the coil pack. So hopefully that does it. So what happens is if you have bad coils overheat, the insulation between the windings can degrade, and it can cause a short circuit or a misfire.
So this thing has around 20,000 miles on her. If your bike starts to misfire around 20,000 miles, I would try to replace the coil packs. It's a really awful feeling, especially that, you know, we spent like $400 like just trying to troubleshoot this thing. But yeah, I would usually replace the battery and the coil packs. That's what we did, and that should you should be set after that. If that's not it, it's gonna be either spark plugs, fuel injectors, or a fuel pump as well. And if you have a bad stator, there is a voltmeter on that thing, so you can see if your volts are dropping. You want them to be running between 13.8 volts and 14.5 volts. That's what your voltage should be while the bike's running. If it's below that, and you've been running around for a good minute, I would probably get that battery or that stator replaced. So yeah, that's how to solve the misfire issue, at least for us. Good luck to all you out there. Peace.